Irony of all ironies, we were trying to get hold of the principal of Apex High School, Renata van der Westhuizen, about the grade 12 pupils and the kind of struggles they're going through with load shedding. And we had to drop the story. Why, Renata? Because you are currently being load shed, and that's why we can't see you too well. You don't have any lights, but thanks so much for coming back on air for us, and well done on receiving that Excellence in Leadership award. You are a superstar, because teachers for me just rank right up there with our heroes in the world. Renata, just tell us, what kind of issues are you dealing with and your poor matrics?
Well, as you stated just now, load shedding for us started at 10 o'clock. So obviously that disrupts the daily lives of the remainder of the students, our grade 8s till grade 11s. So it's obviously the obvious stuff that you don't have electricity. You can see I'm standing in our foyer at the moment, and it's quite difficult to see. So, and because it's not a clear day today. So it affects the teaching of our everyday lives, and obviously COVID forced us to rely on on technology quite a lot, because we are still on a rotational basis, which means only half of our kids are at school, and the other half is actually at home learning from home. And if there's no electricity, they can't access the lessons online today. So which means that they are losing another school day. And obviously the lesson stays online, but then later today there'll be load shedding again. And that is obviously our grade 11s, our grade 8s or grade 11s. But I think the theme of our year has been disruptions. I mean, with COVID, for the first time, I know this is the second time that the grade 12s are sitting for a COVID exam, but the difference is this year, our year started with COVID. So it's been quite disruptive for our grade 12s. And for example, yesterday, our kids wrote business studies, or the kids in South Africa wrote business studies, but the previous night they had load shedding from 6 to 9. And that is obviously the prime time when kids are going to study. So they couldn't study that time. And in our own area, we are in Electric City, we are a no-fee school. A lot of my kids said that they expected the electricity to go on at a certain time. It didn't go on at a certain time when they set their alarms. And then in the morning when they woke up, they still didn't have electricity. And furthermore, yesterday we had protests in East River as well, because the electricity just never went on again. And that means the community is frustrated, which means a lot of our kids struggle to get to the exam venue because of the protests. So obviously, you know that if your cortisol levels are high because of increased stress, it's difficult to learn, it's difficult to perform in such environments.
Renata, what are they actually doing in order to cope? I would be in an absolute anxiety-induced tailspin if I was a matric student right now, because I was just anxious at that time anyway. I should think this is just making things really so much worse.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you know, our kids in general, but specifically if you attend a no-fee school, you have already the daily the trauma of daily lives to deal with, and then you know now you also have a matric exam, and now you also have no power to study. So I don't know. Our kids are very resilient, and you know they make ways. I mean, I spoke to one of my boys, and he said he went to bed earlier, and he set the alarm for 2 o'clock. He was very disappointed when the electricity didn't go on, but then he just set his alarm for every hour until the electricity did go on. So I think they find ways, if COVID did teach us to be a bit more resilient and a bit more grittier, as we say. But I'm not sure. I mean, the only way to deal with the crisis is to go through it. There's nothing else that they can do but to go through it.
Renata, are you expecting a much lower pass rate because of not just load shedding, but because of COVID?
No. I do still have faith that my kids are going to pull through. We are working towards 100% pass rate. Unfortunately, there were a few, not because of, yes, I suppose COVID as well. I've had 4 grade 12s that lost both of their parents this year. And a lot of my grade 12s, unfortunately, also both of their parents lost their jobs. That added extra stress to the household. But I'm still hoping that my kids are going to pull through. As I said, they are very resilient, they are very responsible, and our teachers, like you said earlier, are the heroes of the story, and my general staff, they've worked extremely hard this year to be able to to provide the kids with the best education that they can. They've taught in the holidays, they've taught on Saturdays, they've taught throughout the night. So I think we've done what we can, and we are really hoping for the best.
Thank you so much, Renata van der Westhuizen. Hats off to you for getting those kids through, principal of Apex High School in Eerste River.